Well, joining me now here in our Berlin studio is INTEid. She is president of the German African Foundation. A very warm welcome. It's good to have you here with us. Is this a potential breakthrough in bilateral relations between Eritrea and Ethiopia?
Well, I hope so, because this is indeed a historic moment. Personally, I'm very happy because Eritrea, after all, is my second home, so to say. I lived there for quite some time, but I haven't been there for the last 15 years. So everybody who is familiar with the Horn of Africa has waited for this day to come, that Eritreans and Ethiopians are meeting. And thanks to the new Prime Minister, that he, in his inaugural speech, invited Eritreans and accepted the border ruling, which was decided of the Hague Commission, the Boundary Commission, some years ago. I think this was so far the stumbling step for the Eritreans, and now he accepted and want to implement the decision, and I think this opened the door for the Eritreans to accept to come to Addis.
So, because there have been peace efforts in the past, but you think this time is different?
Well, to my knowledge, there have not been bilateral diplomatic meetings within the last 2 decades. There are no embassies in either side. So there were no official meetings, and this indeed is the first really honest effort that I know of.
We saw in our report, we're also talking about a lot of young Eritreans trying to make the perilous journey to Europe. You've lived in Eritrea. Talk to us a little bit, describe what life is like for a young Eritrean.
Well, it is a small country. The conditions are harsh, so to say. I mean, from climate-wise. But the reason why Eritreans are fleeing their country, I think there are 2. One is that there is this military conscription, and young people have to stay in the army without knowing when they can leave. This is one group. And the other group is that dissidents are not welcomed. Well, this is very mildly said. There are political prisoners, and I think dissidents who do not agree with the policy, they cannot really speak their minds, so they also leave their country in order not to be put in jail. So I think if these 2 problems are loosened, so to say, by now this open politics of the Ethiopian side, it might encourage also the Eritrean side to follow a similar path. I would hope so.
Just very briefly, 10 seconds. So do you think Eritrea will become less repressive than it is at the moment?
Well, the reasons for being repressive are now loosening. So I think it is the first step in the right direction. And I hope at the end there will be a peace and stability and good neighborliness.
INTEid, thank you so very much. You're president of the German African Foundation, for weighing in. Greatly appreciate it.
You're welcome.